What's up, metal and heavy music fans? This is Flight of Icarus with MetalTrenches.com, and I'm here again with another episode of Trench Trash with Dave Raffy from Raffy Reviews.
Hey guys, what's up? How you doing?
And we're talking today about guilty pleasure albums, which is a term I don't use as much anymore because I don't really feel embarrassed to talk about pretty much anything I like, but there are still certain albums where when I think about it, I'm like, I don't really know if I want to share with everyone that I'm still listening to this. So a big one for me that I've been thinking a lot about, this is probably the most recent one on the list, but it's actually the last Stray from the Path album. And the reason it's a guilty pleasure for me is
I don't know. I didn't think that band was that bad.
no, I like them a lot, honestly. I like their music, and that's the thing that kind of makes it a guilty pleasure is that I get so sucked into it. Like, it's so energetic, and I love the riffs. It's super infectious. The problem is the lyrics. Like, the lyrics are super cringy, especially on that most recent album, because it was basically like Donald Trump sucks the album, and like like they literally had that whole song
Like
about like
me,
alt-right
like
good night and like all this
yeah,
stuff, and like it's fine. Like, I like plenty of bands that have like a political message and agenda.
like like super leftist, like kind of
Yeah,
like
like
yeah,
really far leftist stuff, like kind of pro Antifa basic. It was like
yeah.
a pro Antifa anthem basically, which is kind of funny because like I don't fall into that at all. People who have been following the site know that that's not really my scene. But
I mean,
that
I don't know if
album,
that's like what the guys from the band actually believe, or I don't know if that's like
uh,
their idea of like pandering to kind of like a demographic, or I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, based on the interviews and the music videos and kind of the whole package, it seems like they're pretty far aligned with it. But I mean, it could just be pandering too. I don't know. But that album, like, I listened to it over and over again. Like, I honestly got the promo and I was ready to just tear the album apart because I just assumed I would hate it, but I didn't. Like, anytime I read the lyrics, I'm like, oh
Oh,
my
this
God,
is
this is
about
so
the
embarrassing.
new one, or this is
Yeah.
about the new.
Yeah.
Oh,
It came out like 2 years ago, something like that. I don't know. Time flies. But yeah, that's probably my biggest one because I read the lyrics and I'm like embarrassed reading them because it reads like a 12-year-old, writing political lyrics, and they think they're super hard and edgy, and they're just really like formulaic and by the numbers and embarrassing. But the music is so catchy that I can't help get down to it. So that's a big one for me.
all right. So for me, I guess in terms of like the more old school stuff, I have a few. Like I guess you remember like the whole like electronic core thing. Like people used to call it like crabcore, right?
Yeah,
It was
man, I
like
was just talking to somebody about that Attack
yeah,
video.
yeah. I was like attack asking Alexandria. Like I was like I'm kind of like I kind of like somewhat enjoy all of that stuff on like some sort of level. So I guess I could call that a like a guilty pleasure, like that whole like subgenre of metal.
It's been
And
around for a
to
while.
stay on topic, I guess I I gotta say I fucking love A Day to Remember. I know some people
You and me both, man.
some people would call that a guilty pleasure, like on some level.
Yeah, I think I got to them so late that it was never a guilty pleasure for me. I can think of a time in my life where if I had found it then, it probably would have been that, but like I was old enough that I just like didn't really care, and I love all that like pop punk stuff anyways. I grew up listening to Blink 182 and Green Day
Yeah,
and
same.
all of that. So when my friend in college like turned me on to A Day to Remember, I'm like, this is the best of both worlds. I get the like corny, catchy pop punk lyrics plus like the breakdowns and the
Yeah, and
heavier
like
parts.
nowadays, a lot of people like make fun of that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. Another one for me that I kept thinking about is American Head Charge. Like their first album, I don't know if you remember them, but because I don't even know if they're still making music, but they're kind of like an industrial metal band.
I mean, yeah, I think they're still around because I know that because my band we played with them like a couple years ago.
No way. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's so funny, man. Yeah, I got that first album. I think they only have 2 albums, as far as I know.
I'm
And
not sure. Yeah, we played with them, and I don't know if you know Motigrator.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
so
Small World.
apparently both of them are still around, but I think one of the guys passed away actually,
Oh
like
really?
recently.
That's a
Yeah, from
bummer.
Motigrator, I think.
That's a bummer. I know there was a lot of like mental health issues and stuff in American Head Charge. Like I think one of them or maybe 2 of them were like in a psych ward, or they like met in a psych ward or something. I don't know. Maybe that was made up, but I just remember reading that somewhere. But yeah, I
Oh,
consider them kind of a guilty pleasure just because like it's really simple music. It's pretty by the numbers. It's very typical like of the time. It definitely falls into that whole like new metal period.
like on that topic, like I enjoy Stained.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
You know what?
I like
Break the
Stained.
Cycle, man, is a great album. Fuck anyone who tells you that it's not. Like, it's a damn good. There's a reason why it was so popular and it got so much radio play. Like, it had a lot of good songs on it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the guy's been in some controversy lately.
Yeah, I thought
Like
I
I
saw
don't know
something
about
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They fell off hard after that, though. They had like the Gray album right after that, and that album sucked hard. Like, I could not get down with that. But I have Break the Cycle, and I have Dysfunction, the one before that with like the clown guy on the cover, and it had
Oh yeah,
Mud
yeah.
Shovel on it. Mud Shovel, man. We used to get down to that song. I still do sometimes.
Oh, and also like in terms of the heavier stuff, I actually like Job for the Cowboys first release. I know a lot of people don't talk about that one.
It's a legend though. Like I know it's like a
No,
legendary album.
yeah, Doom by Job for a Cowboy.
Yeah.
I guess that a bit because most people only talk about like their death metal stuff.
I've got one more quick one I'll throw out there as long as I mentioned new metal. I think another guilty pleasure for me is Coal Chamber's chamber music, which is kind of considered by a lot to be. I hear all these people talk about how it's their worst album from a band that's already not in particularly high regard, but I really like that opening song. And I think it's Tyler's song is on there too. There's a couple really good ones on that album, despite the Shock the Monkey cover that is just embarrassingly bad that has Ozzy Osbourne on it. I really enjoy listening to that album. That was one of my probably most listened album of my teens for a
Yeah,
long time.
I need to go back and revisit some of those old like new metal bands from back in the day.
Yeah, man. It's still
Oh,
good
oh,
stuff.
you forgot about one guilty pleasure of yours,
Oh, what's that?
Chris Barnes' Graveyard Classics.
No, man. No.
No,
Never, never. I can't do it, man. I know we talked about that a while back. I totally
yeah.
forgot we had that conversation. Ugh. Yeah,
Doesn't
man,
he
I
have like
can't.
doesn't he have like a few of those?
Yeah, he did like a whole series of them, and I never. Like, that was a band that, like, I was first learning about what is death metal, and then, of course, the first thing you find out about is, like, 6 Feet Under and Cannibal Corpse. So I found out we listened to, like, Hammer Smashed Face, and then we listened to some random 6 Feet Under songs. I think the first 6 Feet Under song I heard was actually the Smoke on the Water cover that they did. And I thought that was hilarious. So, like, we would play that and sing along to that. But then I discovered, good death metal. And from then on, it became unnecessary to have anything to do with 6 Feet Under.
Yeah.